anybody who is seeking extra credit. Now today, for the first part of class, I'll be covering a couple of things. About 15 minutes in, some folks from Career Services are going to be stopping by to talk to you about some of the services they have available. It's never too soon, guys, to start building a resume. What you're doing with your LinkedIn pages, rather, is a really good first step. Why are your LinkedIn pages such a good idea, guys? Why are they a good thing to have in 2019? What's good about a LinkedIn page? Yes? Exactly right. Especially in the sub 4% unemployment environment we're in, people are going to be looking to see, hey, can we find out information about qualified people? So that's a good thing. It's also good to build your resume and to use traditional forms of networking as well. I'm talking about meeting people, making connections in the business world. Guys, the old expression is, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Do you guys agree with that? I think it's both. I think that what it comes down to is the idea of who you know might get you the interview. What you know will help you keep the job. If you can get somebody to give you a chance, sometimes it's based on who you know. So guys, we may be starting Chapter 3 today or not, depending on how far our Career Services folks take us when they get here. Guys, we are sorry for the incorrect date on the LinkedIn resubmissions. The last date for that was last Wednesday. I am still going through some people sending back and forth revisions to me. So if I've emailed you for revisions, email me back and make sure you know that you've let me know you fixed them. Guys, we're going to cover the economic systems exercise in class today, and that assignment is due on Wednesday, as is the online discussion post that I have online for you with an ethics article I'm asking you to read. Guys, after we get through these assignments, the next assignment we're going to cover in class is a top 10 assignment. Don't worry about it right now. It's a week or two out. After we get through Chapter 3, however, we're going to have our first test in here. Now, our first test, what are all the questions in this class? What formats? Multiple choice and true and false. And we are going to review. You will have a study sheet to get ready for this exam. So I will email you once we get through everything on the third chapter. I'm going to email you a study guide for Chapters 1, 2, and 3. That's not to say that you shouldn't study your notes, because sometimes some questions will come out of notes or text. Sometimes the stuff that I covered in class in terms of review that was true and false might now be multiple choice. What was true might be false, etc. Anything we've talked about in class is fair game. Current events tend to end up being bonus questions for the exam. Trust me, you'll feel well prepared for this test. And because if you look back, and you don't have to worry about it now, your final grade in this class is weighted with your group presentation as well when we get into the stock game in the month of October. We'll talk more about that. When we roll in the midterms, because we won't have accomplished the stock game, your assignments and your test will be more equally weighted than they will for your final grade. So let's say, for example, you're not a great test taker, and you're a little concerned because you don't do well on your first test. Fear not, you're going to have some time to make it up between now and the end of the semester. And the other thing, too, guys, I want to remind you, we have a standing extra credit opportunity in this class. If you're willing to come up to the front of the class at the beginning of the class and facilitate a 5 to 10 minute discussion on a mutually agreed upon topic between you and me, you can earn a couple of bonus points that way. So, guys, before we jump into any material today, I want to remind you that your next extra credit opportunity is coming up this Friday. In case I haven't made it clear, I'm very excited. This is the guy who brought Batman to the big screen. I cannot tell you how much money this guy has made for Warner Brothers. Actually, I can't tell you. It's about $1.7 trillion. So this guy basically made it cool to make serious superhero films. Before the 1989 Batman film, nobody had done it. This guy's a mover and shaker in Hollywood and in the world of business, and he's coming to campus this Friday. So I'm really strongly encouraging you to go to this event just to experience it, because you're going to be meeting somebody who literally changed the face of cinema, but also earning 2 bonus points on your first test by attending. By show of hands, how many of my people in here are Marvel movie fans? Yeah, we got quite a few. As much as I'm a DC guy, I love Marvel movies. There wouldn't be Marvel movies if this guy hadn't shown Hollywood that it was possible to make money. Check this out, guys. The original film rights for Batman. Now keep in mind, the first big film came out in 1989. Anybody know what year this guy got the rights to make the first film? Take a guess. Yes?
So like 10 years before.
10 years. It was 1979. So it took him 10 years because no studio in Hollywood would touch it. They said this movie will never make money. Nobody will go see serious superhero films. It's going to be a bomb. This movie ended up being the biggest film of 1989 and still is in the top, I think the top 25 or 30 highest grossing films of all time. And this guy's coming here. This is going to be so cool. Guys, for anybody who needs CES, this is starting tonight. We are in Bat Flash Week. Tonight at JFK at 7:15, we're doing a presentation called The Power of Grief. Bless you. Now, you may say, what does grief have to do with superheroes? A lot of superheroes have tragic backstories. Who here could tell me about a character that had a tragic backstory? Yes? Superman. Tell me about his backstory.
He lost his parents. I mean, he went to Earth and didn't have parents, so he grew up.
Yeah, Superman was adopted. Superman's planet actually blew up. How about Spider-Man? What's Spider-Man's tragic backstory? Yes. Yeah, he got taught the value of responsibility because the guy who ended up killing his uncle walked right past him. He could have stopped him and he didn't, and it cost him everything. And we know, of course, Batman saw both of his parents killed. So a lot of these characters have very tragic backstories. And by using their stories, we can sometimes process our stories. Everybody has grief in their life at some point. We all lose people we care about. It's going to be a great conversation, and it's CES if you need that as well. Now, tomorrow night, Tuesday, our faculty from the physical therapy department are going to be doing a presentation on physically what would it take to be Batman. Could you actually do it? Wednesday night, there's going to be a candlelight ceremony on the mall. I don't list it as CES, but I encourage you to go. It's 8 p.m., and it's going to be a chance for us to support people who are grieving the loss of some of the people in our campus community. We're doing a panel discussion then on Thursday, and this will actually be in Paddle 110 on capital punishment. What's Batman's one rule? What won't he do? Doesn't kill anybody. And so we're going to be asking the ethical question. Is he making good ethical decisions by making the decision not to kill? Yes?
I just want to go, I think the suicide awareness one is listed as CES now.
Oh, okay. I'll put that on the flyer next time. I'll even do a promotion for that. That's awesome. That's great. I will add that to my list. Thank you for bringing that up. And on Friday, of course, we're going to have the big event in JFK. And if you come early, we're doing a superhero carnival from 5 to 7 for area kids. So all that being said, guys, any questions about all this great CES stuff we have going on? Questions at all? If you want to hit me up outside of class, feel free to do so. I'm going to be on campus every single night this week with all of these events. Guys, I want to also talk a little bit about the economic systems exercise. Now, this is something I said we talk about in class. If you've already submitted this assignment, you are free to resubmit after our discussion this morning. What I'm asking you to do is to tell me about two countries with two different economic systems. So let's talk about this for a second. What are the three major economic systems? Say it real loud. I'm a deaf old man. You got it. So we're capitalism, communism, and socialism. Guys, let's talk about this for a second. What is an attribute of capitalism? What's something good about capitalism? Yes?
Free market.
Yeah, absolutely. Over here, what's something bad about capitalism? Yes?
Ability to fail easily.
Yeah, you have very few safety nets. Okay, we're going to start on this side now. What's something good about communism? Trust me, there's one or two good things about communism. What's something good about communism? Yes?
There's structure to the government.
Yeah, the structure. Basically everybody has a purpose and is employed. What's a negative of communism? What's something bad about communism? Yeah.
Typically, supply can't be
Yeah, but because who dictates this? Everybody inside the room. Who dictates supply and demand in a communist economy? You've got it. The government makes that decision. Okay, we're going to go back over here. We're going to talk about socialism for a minute. So what's socialism? What's good? One good part about socialism?
The government provides a lot of safety nets.
Lots of services for everybody. And over here, back half of the room, what's something bad about socialism? What's something bad? You keep your best and brightest because you lose. How come? Exactly right. So guys, what I'm asking you to do, let's pick two countries here. Will somebody tell me a country that functions under capitalism? Yeah, we're one of the best examples, if not the best example in the world. Will somebody over here tell me a country that functions under communism. What's the most famous communist country in the world right now in terms of pure communism? I'm sorry?
North Korea.
That's a great example. North Korea is a very good example, although, we're going to use them. They also kind of come across as sort of a royal system, if you will, because power gets inherited from father to son, but we're going to call them communist. So we're going to talk about articles on both these countries. I'm asking you to cite at least one news article for each country. So I might find a news article about North Korea that says, for example, people are having a hard time affording basic necessities. I might find a news article on the capitalist side that says the markets are doing really well because of free and open competition. I'm backing up my opinion. So what I'm asking you to do is to tell me the major features of each economic system. If you say capitalism, you're basically saying, hey, for capitalism, it's a free and open market. Everybody can make money if they want to, but there's few social safety nets. Greed can be a problem, but supply and demand are determined by the free market, by what people are willing to pay. I would say the similar kinds of things I just said about communism. There's little selection. Government determines supply and demand. There is little competition, if any. I would list the countries that function under these systems, at least one of each. I'm going to give you one news article for each country that tells me why I think the way I do. For example, if I like capitalism, an article from the Wall Street Journal or Forbes might back up how good the markets are. If I'm not a fan of communism, an article from USA Today might tell me how people in North Korea are suffering. Finally, the last part of this, I'm asking you to tell me your opinion, which system you prefer and why. So in other words, if you write an article and you end up coming off as pro-socialist, I can still give you an A on the paper. I want your opinion. If you believe, for example, that a free market is not to your advantage, that you would rather have more government services, make that case. I'm not scoring you based on your opinion. I'm scoring you based on your ability to articulate it, on the fact you've used sources, on the fact that you have backed up what you have said. So, a couple of points, and I would take note of this, guys. Give me in-text citations. In other words, if you come up with an idea, tell me where you got it from. If you got it from USA Today, if you got it from Forbes, give me a citation. I'm not going to score you very tough in terms of formatting. Don't worry if your formatting is perfect. Bless you. Give me a bibliography at the end. Bless you. Write in complete sentences. For this one, you can use bullet points, for example, under each country, but make sure the sentences are good and complete. Read your work. In fact, this is due Wednesday, but if you want to run something past me, so long as you give me enough notice, I'll gladly give your work a look if you email me or stop by my office. That being said, keep in mind this is a very large class. So the sooner you give me something to read, the more quickly I'll be able to actually get back to you. A couple other points on this, guys. Do not plagiarize. When I say plagiarize, sometimes people unintentionally plagiarize. They will put in verbiage from a source that they copied and pasted and give me a citation. That's plagiarism unless there's what? What makes that not plagiarism? Quotations. Exactly right. The other thing too, guys, don't just randomly insert quotations in as the majority of your document. If you give me a quotation that's a paragraph long, that's not really acceptable. Paraphrase. Tell me what you got from the sources that you read. That all makes sense, guys? Okay. What questions do you have? What questions can I answer? Sir?
Would you prefer APA or?
I prefer APA, but honestly, whatever works best for you. Honestly, so long as you give me in-text citations, I'm not even going to score you on format. So, yeah, you're welcome. Trust me, you get further on in this program, plenty of people will be scoring you on format. I'm saving you that pain. Just write well. Other questions? And if you're not comfortable asking here, hit me up after class. Yes, sir?
You want a double space?
Yeah, please. Thank you for bringing that up. That makes it easier for me to read your work. And please submit it as a Word file, guys. If you submit it as text in Canvas, I can't annotate on it. So, does that make sense, guys? Okay. Any other questions? All right, guys. Well, here's the deal. That's due on Wednesday. Hey, by show of hands, how many people in this room have other big assignments due this week? Well, here's what we're going to do then, because I'm in a generous mood today because it's Fat Flash Week. I'm extending the due date to Friday. Is that okay?
That's perfect.
Can I get a whoop whoop if it's okay? See, that's much better. All right, any other questions, guys? All right, well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause the recording and go out and bring our career services folks in. What I am going to ask you to do for their time here, show them lots of respect, show them lots of love, and they're going to be giving you all kinds of information that's going to be very helpful to you. So